Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Alright, let's have a look and see what there is to talk about today. Hopefully there is a lot, because we haven't done a video in a couple of days. I still haven't put up the best photo in the world yet. I've just been a bit lazy. If you didn't watch the previous video, this is me, as you can see, with maybe the pound for pound #1 in that undisputed fight against Tyson Fury, and that is a fucking great photo, and it needs to go up there. I'm gonna bring Bivol down and I'm gonna frame this bad boy and put it up sometime soon. I don't know when, we'll see. All right, Ryan Garcia calls Terence Crawford overhyped, says come see me in the ring. Is he still on the stuff? And I don't mean the stuff in terms of performance enhancing drugs, I mean the other stuff, because that is some bullshit, isn't it? Like Ryan Garcia calling Terence Crawford overhyped. Ryan Garcia calling a man that is double undisputed, a 4-weight world champion, overhyped. Like, his biggest claim to fame at the moment, this is Ryan Garcia, is that Devin Haney win, which has so many asterisks on it. We've even scratched it from our existence. And you're calling Terence Crawford overhyped. Like, Ryan's a decent fighter, you know. Ryan's got good hand speed. I mean, technically, I still think he's all over the place. It's weird, like that kind of shoulder roll thing he does. I'm not even going to try and do it, but you know what I'm talking about. But stop. Just stop. Like, you know, I get it, right? You want to cause a bit of traction, right? People are going to do what I'm doing, start talking about it, and you're trying to get a response from Terence, but let's just be realistic. You're on a drugs ban at the moment. Terence Crawford would absolutely body Ryan Garcia. Like, just, it's so, like, it's so far-fetched, I don't even know why I'm talking about it. I really don't. That being said, let's separate the Crawford-Garcia talk. That being said, Ryan will be in a big fight when he comes back, and that fight will be at 147, maybe even higher. Maybe even higher. Ryan's a big guy. Obviously, look, his days at 140 are done. I think that's down to ill discipline rather than him growing out of the weight, because this guy was at 135 2 years ago, and all of a sudden, you know, you jump into 147. But look, he's going to be in a big fight. I don't know who against. Nothing in the 147 division I think will look attractive to his team. Jaron Ennis just represents danger, and I don't know if that's a big enough fight. And the other guys you can just discount immediately, right? Stanionis, Barrios, and Brian Norman. So it's most likely going to be a Devin Haney rematch. Like, if both of them were to go straight in, that fight does, because of the history, it does over 1 million pay-per-view buys, I think. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. I'm just speaking. Teofimo Lopez, who's a big 140 guy who's spoken about going up as well. He is also called out Terence Crawford. Like, he's called out of Crawford, I get. I understand. Makes more sense to me. Ryan, no. So, look, we'll see what Ryan does when he gets back from his ban, which I think ends in March or April. Jack Massey looking to take opportunity against Jai Opetaia October 12th. Yeah. As I said, look, I think Opetaia is the best cruiserweight, but we saw holes in his performance against Maris Bradis. We did. I mean, Bradis is very good, but we saw holes. He didn't steamroll Bradis like he steamrolled his previous opponents. It's just fact, right? I mean, the way in which he steamrolled Jordan Thompson, the way in which he steamrolled Ellis Zorro, I thought we might see something like that against Bradis. My fault, because Bradis hadn't fought for so long, and Bradis is coming to the end. He's retired. So there are question marks about Opetaia at the very elite world level, like the very elite. Like, how really, like, is he? I thought he was fucking extraterrestrial. I thought, my God, we are watching Oleksandr Usyk 2.0 here. It isn't that, I don't think. So if you're Jack Massey, you never know, right? You got to take what you can take, and he would have watched that performance and thought, okay, 1 second, you know, there's something there. We can do this. Let's see. Caleb Plant says Edgar Berlanga doesn't have the boxing skills, IQ, or chin to beat Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, that, you know, normally I'd say he's hating, but he's correct. He doesn't have the boxing skills. He doesn't. I mean, this jump from what he's been fighting to Canelo's, it's so big, it's frightening. It's so big. Like, to put it in to a football context, I think it's almost like a player lower tier championship getting signed by Arsenal and everyone expecting him to somehow produce the same goods that he did in the lower tier championship. It's not that, by the way, that can happen. We've seen it. There are players that have gone from the championship to top Premier League clubs. It can happen, but it's very, very rare. So he doesn't have the boxing skills, and I'm not sure about the chin. I'm not sure about that, but it's going to be difficult, right? It's going to be difficult. All right, before we have a look at what else is going on, I think this fight on the undercard of AJ Dubois, personally, for me, it should be co-main. For me, it's co-main. It's the second biggest, and it's for me, the second most intriguing fight on the card. AJ Dubois is number one. I get it. But Joshua Buatsi versus Willy Hutchinson, for me, is definitely number two. Like, these guys have a genuine dislike for each other. It's there. You guys would have seen the face-offs, I think. I don't know if they're out, but if they're not, wait till you see them. Behind the scenes, I think we've seen them have a bit of a scuffle. But removing all that, we have two styles here that I think are going to gel beautifully for a really good fight. I think so. And look, I completely got it wrong and read the room wrong with Willy Hutchinson. Like, in that 5 versus 5 thing, I was like, this fight's going to be tough. This fight's hard to call. I was like, yeah, Richards, Hutchinson. I literally dismissed him like that. Oh, move on. Why are we talking about Hutchinson? Richards is going to knock him out. Got it wrong. And I knew I got it wrong from the very first round. I was watching that fight thinking, fuck me, how have I got this so wrong? Like, I've not watched enough of Hutchinson. And I was so hyped on Craig Richards because I've watched nearly all of Craig Richards' fights. I am no longer sleeping on Willy Hutchinson, the Hutch train. He has a style very, very reminiscent of a Billy Joe Saunders, Tyson Fury. He's all over the place. He switches. It's weird, the angles he creates. Plus, he's got a bit of pop. So I think it's an incredible fight. I really do. I'm so intrigued by this fight. Again, more so than anything else on the card. And that's not me disrespecting what else is on the card, because I think there are some really interesting matchups. Liam Smith. If I was to put it in order of intrigue, I would go, obviously, AJ Dubois, Buatsi Hutchinson. I would probably go Smith Kelly, you know, in terms of intrigue. I'll go Smith Kelly, Shiraz Denny, Kakache Warrington, and the Chamberlain fight. I think, is that it? Is that also on the card? Have I missed someone? I think that's it, innit? Probably have missed someone, but that will be my level of intrigue. But yeah, look, back to it. I'll edge to Buatsi in this one, but mate, like I've always felt that Buatsi, as skillful as he is, and he's a very skilled boxer, I almost feel like he just outmans his opponents. Like, he will take you to a place that you're not comfortable with physically, and just run through you. That's kind of his thing, right? He will break you. That's why I thought the Yard fight was so intriguing, because Yard's kind of like that as well. Although Yard's a bit more flashy, Yard's a bit like that. I think he's going to need a bit more than that to get through Hutchinson, because I almost feel like Hutchinson might be able to absorb a bit of that. Like, you might look at him physically and think he's not as tough as Buatsi because he's not ripped in chills. I think he is quite tough. I think he is. I don't know if that's a traveller background thing. I'm not quite sure, but I think he's actually tough. So this might come down to that plus skill. So who can outman each other and who's the most skillful fighter? And I actually think that it's close. I really do. I really think Hutchinson has a great opportunity here. But I am going Buatsi. I think Buatsi will get the job done. I think Buatsi will get to him. And I think once Buatsi gets to you, and I think we've seen this with Craig Richards fights, I think we've seen this with the Dan Aziz, he just has a bit more will. Like, he's willing to go to a place that maybe the others aren't. Maybe. But look, it's a great fight. Honestly, it's a great fight. And again, for me, it's the second most intriguing fight on the card, and I think it potentially could be fight of the night as well. And then we'll see what happens to the winner. I remember, I'm going to probably just out in myself here, but I remember when Hutchinson sat down with Darren Barker. So me and Darren kind of divvy up the interview, like who's going to interview who. And I said, oh, you can do Hutchinson. And I remember Hutchinson was like, yeah, it's my destiny. I'm going to be a world champion. You watch. I'm going to run through Craig Richards. I'm going to do this. He's rubbish. And I remember I was in the corner like, yeah, well. I was literally in the corner like, yeah, cool. And then when he left, I was like, fucking hell. I remember telling Bark, I was like, fucking hell, mate. Like, yeah. Mate. Again, I got it so wrong. And I'm happy to put my hands up. Got it wrong. He's a problem. He's awkward. And he's a fantastic addition to the 175-pound division over here. Fantastic addition. And all of a sudden, we've got someone that spices it up a little bit, talks a little shit, little smack. Some of it's a bit borderline, but it helps and it sells the fight. Very intrigued by him. All right. Chris Eubank Jr. offers his thoughts on prospective opponents, including Ben, Saunders, Canelo, Crawford. What a interesting collection of opponents here. One of them, Ben, is a 147 guy, really. Saunders hasn't fought for I don't know how long. Canelo, Crawford. If he wins against Camille Zeramata, and he will. The Canelo and Crawford fights, although people might scoff at those, they're not far away, you know. They're not far away. He's a name. He's a name. He's now part of the Riyadh season. Both of these guys, Canelo and Crawford, don't have viable opponents next. But there isn't an obvious Crawford's going to fight him next, and Canelo should fight. Well, there's a Canelo should fight, that's Benavidez, but there's not a Canelo is going to fight. Do you know what I mean? So his name might be in the mix. It was in the mix for Canelo, so it's kind of there. It's kind of there. Eddie Hearn, ready or not, Edgar Berlanga had to take Canelo Alvarez fight. Yeah. What, did he? Why did he have to? I mean, look, I've always said that fight comes across your table, take it. It's too big because you could land the home run and change your life. And even if you lose, but you look good in the performance, change your life. So, yeah, I agree. He's got to take it. How good is Naoya Inoue? Very good. That's how good he is. Very good. Special fighter. Like, all-time great fighter. I think he's insanely good. So, yeah, don't need to go on any further about him. I think he's incredible. All right, anything else? Oh, yeah. Liam Smith. Again, remember, again, you gave you my intrigue, right? Liam Smith. There is a reason Josh Kelly has not cut it at the top. There is something in this, by the way. There is something in this. There is something in the fact that... How many fights has Josh Kelly had? One second. Josh Kelly is 30 years old and he has had 17 fights. When was his first fight? 2017 he made his debut. That there is something in the fact, by the way, that's not that many fights, 17. He's been very inactive, hasn't he? There's something in the fact that, and even when he fought Avanesian wasn't like this fucking top 147 killer. Why haven't we seen him in with someone? I mean, the someone is Liam Smith now, right? But like, he seems to have everything. He seems to, so there must be something that they're seeing that is missing, because I think he should have been in that 154 mix and he's not been in the mix at all. It's like zero. So it is interesting. So maybe Liam Smith is onto something here. There is something he lacks. I thought he looked incredible against Troy Williamson. Like, shut out, looked really good. And even then after that, like, go then. Let's really chuck you in. Let's fight someone of note. We haven't really seen it. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. All right, guys, girls, we're done.